Indiana Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. This was a highly anticipated game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark just broke 4 WNBA records like it was casual cardio. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever didn't just beat the Dallas Wings, they detonated them. And poor Paige Bueckers, let's just say she picked the wrong night to show up. If you blinked, you missed history. If you're a hater, you're probably hiding. What exactly did Caitlin do this time, and why does it feel like she's glitching real life? Buckle up, because this wasn't just a game. It was a statement.
Game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in the WNBA. It is also only Caitlin Clark's third game back from injury, and this season for the Indiana Fever has been a roller coaster ride. There has been ups, there has been downs, there has been times that we have been so confused on what is actually going on with this team. And I'll start off by saying I feel like this was one of their best games as far as playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the game.
So picture this. Caitlin Clark walks into a WNBA game like it's just another Tuesday. Except instead of checking her calendar, she decides to check off 4 records from the league's all-time list. You know, casual stuff. While the Dallas Wings are still stretching and Paige Bueckers is trying to find the locker room snacks, Caitlin's already rewriting the laws of physics with step-back threes and cross-court lasers like she downloaded a cheat code mid-warm-up.
Caitlin Clark running the offense, being the innovator of offense, the distributor of offense for the Indiana Fever. This is exactly what we mean right here. This game was an absolute blowout. Dallas Wings didn't know what hit them. Everybody ate in this game. Let's just jump right into it. Caitlin Clark is now has the 5th most double-doubles with points and assists in WNBA history. All right, now to put that into some context, she's played 1 year plus into this season, and she's missed 10 games.
And then the Indiana Fever didn't just show up. They detonated. It was less of a basketball game and more like a live demonstration of how to completely humiliate a franchise on national television. And poor Dallas, they caught the full smoke with extra spice. Add Paige Bueckers' debut to the mix, and the universe practically yelled, "Cue the chaos!"
You know, you see the way Indiana played in a game like this, where there was just such incredible rhythm, flow, tenacity on the defensive end. And you start thinking again about the heights of where they can be this year.
Yeah, Indiana looked terrific, especially in that first half, the second quarter where they scored 36 points, and they were just able to get things done efficiently on the offensive end, but on the defensive end was where I was really impressed because they made things very hard for Dallas, turned them over, turned that into easy looks the other way. Certainly, when you watch them play like this, you're like, ooh, this is a team that can contend for a championship.
Caitlin.
But let's rewind, because this demolition wasn't just random. No, this moment was the result of weeks, no, months, of simmering build-up, media hysteria, TikTok theories, and fans yelling into the void that Caitlin Clark was either the next GOAT or the world's most elaborate social experiment.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league.
You see, Caitlin's start to the season? Bumpy. People doubted her. Said she was too flashy. Said the WNBA was too grown for her magic tricks. Opposing defenses were basically staging Broadway productions just to stop her from shooting. But slowly, methodically, she adjusted. She adapted. She Clarked the system. And once she found that groove, oh, it was on. Then, enter stage left. Paige Bueckers. Now this was Paige's big coming out party. Her WNBA moment, the highly anticipated showdown. Caitlin versus Paige. The college-era queens finally sharing the pro stage, and the media hyped it up like it was the Super Bowl, the Met Gala, and a Marvel Multiverse crossover all rolled into one. Problem is, only one of them showed up with an actual cape. From tip-off, it was clear Caitlin wasn't just here to play, she was here to embarrass. Like, you could almost hear her inner monologue going, "Oh, y'all wanted a show, cute, watch this." And then, boom, first possession, 3-pointer from the parking lot. Welcome to the league, Paige. Within minutes, Caitlin was doing what she does best, dominating with the kind of poise and precision that makes you wonder if she time traveled here from her own Hall of Fame induction speech. Step backs, crossovers, full court vision, like she's got drones feeding her real-time intel. Meanwhile, the Wings defense looked like they were auditioning for a job at TSA, randomly flailing their arms in the vague direction of a threat they couldn't track.
Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark have finally faced off in the pros, so of course the better than, worse than debate has started. So first of all, this is such a funny thing to constantly do, but it is sports. It is something where people are constantly being compared to one another. I do sort of feel like this is a little overblown, but there are differences to their game, there are similarities to their game, and I want to first state that I am not a Paige Bueckers hater. I think she's a great player.
And we need to talk about the pace. Caitlin ran that offense like she was double parked. Before you could blink, she had 12 points, 5 assists, and an entire team questioning their career choices. The Fever were moving like synchronized chaos, cuts, screens, alley-oops, and at the center of it all, Clark smiling like she just knew she was about to burn the entire league down. By halftime, it wasn't even close. Caitlin had torched the Wings so badly that fans were checking if their TV brightness settings were off. The scoreboard was disrespectful. The crowd unhinged. The camera couldn't pan fast enough between Clark draining logo threes and Bueckers looking like she just wandered into a basketball horror movie titled Attack of the 6'0" Sniper. And look, this isn't a knock on Paige. She's insanely talented. When she gets going, she's poetry in motion. But on this night, she looked hesitant. Like someone told her Caitlin had the Infinity Stones, and she believed it. Her passes were safe, her shots tentative. She was moving in slow motion while Caitlin was hitting fast forward. Even when Paige tried to create space, Clark's presence loomed like a basketball boogeyman whispering, "Not today."
I mean, I feel like every point is critical. I wouldn't really say All-Star is viewed as critical. I feel like that's just a fun thing. I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like, we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together. And then we go on the road and, we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So
it was hard not to feel a little bad. Paige's debut was supposed to be a celebration, but it turned into Caitlin's coronation. One was searching for rhythm. The other was conducting an orchestra, where the only instruments were humiliation, domination, and broken records. And speaking of records, we're just getting warmed up. So now it's the third quarter. And if Dallas had any hopes of climbing back into this game, Caitlin Clark personally dragged them outside and buried them next to everyone else's expectations. Because this was where the real carnage began. The part where the stat sheet turned into a horror story and 4 WNBA records just vanished like they owed her money. First up, most points in a single game by a rookie this season. Smashed. Caitlin didn't just edge past it, she obliterated it. And with efficiency that made mathematicians cry. She wasn't chucking up bricks and praying. Every shot felt calculated, like she was reading cheat codes off a script only she could see. Then came the fastest rookie to reach 300 career points. Now, mind you, this record had stood for years. Players had chased it, fallen just short. But Caitlin? Nah, she showed up, glanced at the number, and said, "That all?" Then dropped a no-look dime, stepped back, drilled a 30-footer, and ran back on defense like she was ordering lunch.
Comparing a scalpel to a firework. However, there are going to be different impacts that each player has on their team. And I do want to state that I do think that Caitlin is on a better team than Paige Bueckers, first of all, just as a disclaimer. And the two teams, the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings, did go head-to-head yesterday in a blowout win where the Indiana Fever scored over 100 points on the Dallas Wings. And Paige Bueckers did come out on top in the scoring stat. And this has led to a lot of talk about Paige Bueckers being better than Caitlin Clark, which I think people really just need to knock off.
Next up, most assists in a single game by any Indiana Fever player ever. Not just rookies, anyone. That includes veterans, all-stars, and people who actually read the playbook. But Caitlin didn't care. She was dishing dimes like Oprah hands out cars. No-look passes, wraparounds, full-court zingers with pinpoint accuracy that had defenders spinning like cheap ceiling fans. And then, the crown jewel. the first player in WNBA history to record a 30-point triple-double with 5+ made threes. Not rookie history, not Indiana history, league history. This wasn't a debut performance, this was a heist. Caitlin walked into the record books with muddy shoes and said, "Make room." Meanwhile, let's check in on Dallas. The Wings were supposed to be the more physical team, the ones who could slow the pace, disrupt rhythm, impose their will. But what actually happened was a full system malfunction. Their game plan absolutely incinerated. Every switch was late, every double team got diced up, and by the fourth quarter, they were fouling Caitlin just to stop the bleeding, and Paige Bueckers. This was a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. She kept trying to find her footing, but the ground kept shifting. Whenever she drove, the lane closed. When she kicked it out, her teammates bricked it. When she pulled up, defenders swarmed like someone activated embarrass her mode. It was like someone swapped her controller with a GameStop demo version. Delayed reactions, glitchy passes, frozen confidence.
I low-key been really trying to avoid this conversation, but it's really about time we talk about if Paige is gonna be better than Caitlin Clark. And when I say gonna be, I'm talking about very soon. Remember, Caitlin's in her second year, Paige is in her first year. These are their stats this year, and you see how similar they are. Both average 18, Caitlin 5 rebounds, Paige 4 rebounds. The main difference is in the assists. Basically 9 assists a game to 6. But Paige shooting better from the field and better from the 3. And then you start looking at the season that she's having as a rookie. She has more WNBA games scoring 20 points than she does scoring less than 15 as a rookie.
This isn't to say Paige isn't going to be a star. She is. But on this particular night, she was playing catch-up in a race Caitlin had already lapped twice. Now let's talk body language, because this part told the story before the box score ever could. Caitlin's posture, straight up menace. She had that swagger, shoulders back, head up, eyes scanning like a predator looking for the next mismatch. She'd hit a 3 and jog back on defense like she was out on a casual jog through a burning village. Confidence turned up to obnoxious levels. Paige, on the other hand, had the what is happening right now look most rookies wear when the game starts spiraling. Hands on hips, forced smiles, the occasional confused glance toward the bench like, "Y'all seeing this too?" She wasn't just outplayed, she was outclassed. And the fever? Oh, they were loving it. The bench was dancing. The crowd was unglued. Even the mascot looked like it wanted to suit up and catch a Clark pass. This wasn't just a home game, it was a coronation, a parade, and a massacre rolled into 4 quarters of pure basketball euphoria. By the time the buzzer sounded, the scoreboard wasn't just lopsided, it was offensive. Final score, Fever by a landslide. And Caitlin? Smiling, waving to the crowd like she hadn't just destroyed a team's self-esteem on live television.
Spectacular shooting career that the last 5 games have been the closest thing you've ever had to what could be called a slump.
For sure.
From your perspective, what's going on?
I mean, I don't think it's anything mechanically or something wrong with my shot. You know, it's just basketball. And I was talking to our player development coach yesterday, and he was like, just sent me a few things of like even Steph going through a slump. I think he was like 27 for his last 70 or something like that. Like the best in the world go through it, and I think that's like where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is like, I know how hard I've worked, so you know this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this. So
the Dallas Wings slinked off the court like kids who failed their group project even though they showed up on time. Paige gave a quick handshake, probably booked a therapy session, and disappeared down the tunnel. But Caitlin? She stayed. She signed autographs, took selfies, and probably updated her LinkedIn with WNBA record holder ×4. And here's the kicker. Nothing about this performance felt forced. No stat padding, no desperate hero ball, just a player who was clearly operating in a higher dimension. Like everyone else was in the present, and Caitlin was already in the playoffs. So now that the fireworks are over and Dallas has been spiritually escorted off the court, let's talk about what just happened. Because this wasn't just a statistical masterpiece, it wasn't just a highlight reel you'll see replayed until your TV begs for mercy. No, this was a seismic shift, a basketball rebrand, a declaration of war on everything we thought we knew about rookie ceilings, WNBA popularity, and who's really running this league. Let's start with the obvious. Caitlin Clark is no longer a promising rookie. She's no longer just the white-hot media sensation fresh out of Iowa. Nope. Now, she's officially what the league has been begging for. A certified, undeniable primetime superstar who actually delivers when the lights are blinding.
You know, it can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to, but then like I look at the box and it's like I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence, and I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, I mean, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know, and I'm still confident in everything that I can do.
People came for the hype. They stayed for the history. And now, they're camping out for season tickets like it's the Taylor Swift Eras Tour with basketballs. Ticket prices skyrocketing, jersey sales record-breaking, viewership blowing past regular season records like Clark's three-pointers. She's not just raising the Fever's ceiling, she's dragging the whole WNBA into the mainstream, kicking and screaming if she has to. And nights like this is how you do it. You don't ask for attention, you demand it. With step-back threes, bullet passes, and historic triple-doubles that make people say, wait, she's a rookie? Now, let's talk about the WNBA's not-so-secret obsession, the Paige versus Caitlin storyline. The media has been foaming at the mouth over this for years. College fans turned it into a personality quiz. You're either Team Paige or Team Caitlin, like it's Hogwarts houses with sneakers. And now, the pros have it too. The narrative writes itself. 2 generational guards, 2 different styles, both trying to be the face of a league still clawing for attention. But here's the twist. This rivalry isn't even close. Not yet. Because while Paige was getting her feet wet and trying not to drown in expectations, Caitlin was out here conducting a masterclass. That's not shade, it's context. Paige is still adjusting to the speed, the physicality, the chaos of pro ball. Caitlin? She's already rearranging furniture in the WNBA's penthouse suite.
Okay, we got the matchup, Paige Bueckers versus Caitlin Clark. So let's talk about the teams first. The Indiana Fever are clearly the superior team, and that showed today with the final score, blowing them out by, I believe, 20 points, right? But now we can talk about the individual matchup. Paige Bueckers scores 21 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals. She probably would have had 12 assists if her teammates could finish easy baskets. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, still struggling with the scoring a bit, coming back off those injuries. 14 points, 13 assists, and 2 steals. 13 assists is really the big number here, obviously having a double-double. She had a couple full-court passes looking like Steve Nash or Kevin Love with those outlets to her teammates who were able to convert those easy baskets and layups in transition. So shout out.
Still, don't count Paige out. She's got the handles, the IQ, the pedigree. Once she settles in, this could become a rivalry worthy of all the overhype. But if this game proved anything, it's that Caitlin Clark isn't waiting around for anyone. She's not interested in fair fights. She's building a dynasty in real time, and you can either catch up or get steamrolled. And let's not pretend this wasn't symbolic. This game wasn't just a lopsided box score. It was a metaphor with sneakers. The old guard getting dusted, the cautious rookies getting past, the doubters getting awfully quiet. Caitlin didn't just break records, she broke through the noise, through the skepticism, through the gatekeeping nonsense that says rookies have to earn their place before they lead. Nope, she just took it. And look at the Fever, a team that until about 5 minutes ago was the WNBA equivalent of background noise. And now, every future Caitlin opponent is on red alert. Coaches are probably staying up at 3 a.m., watching film, praying for divine intervention. Defenses will get tougher, the double teams will come faster, but here's the catch. She thrives under that pressure. She wants the chaos, because for all her flashy shots and viral highlights, she's a student of the game. She adapts, she learns, and if you give her an inch, she'll hit a logo 3, wink at your coach, and ask what's for dinner.
Clark backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, fading away, and dropping it in.
I think Caitlin Clark is better than Paige Bueckers, and here's why.
Cat.
Why you say that? Go ahead.
I get it. Caitlin Clark has revolutionized the game, but Paige Bueckers is like Kyrie Irving, where her bag is phenomenal. She can do everything. She doesn't have to live and die by the 3. She's the whole package. She can facilitate. She can get to the rack. She got a bag that nobody can handle. She just won a national championship, something that Caitlin Clark did not do. When you look at it like that, Paige Bueckers is better than Caitlin Clark.
I disagree there. Now I'm going to talk about this, right, with Caitlin Clark. She was all WNBA first team as a rookie. That's immediate impact off the jump, right? The shooting prowess is just unmatched. She's going to just impact the game in like a Steph Curry fashion for women.
What Caitlin's doing isn't just impressive, it's disruptive. She's messing with the algorithm, breaking expectations, shifting how we talk about rookies, stars, and the WNBA's future. And the wild part? She's just getting started. This wasn't a peak. This wasn't her final form. This was a warning shot. And the fans, they know it. The energy in that arena was electric. So what's next? Well, for one, expect every WNBA team to build their game plan around stopping one person. Expect the media frenzy to double. Expect the haters to dig deeper and fail harder. And if you're Paige Bueckers, expect redemption. Because if she's the competitor we know she is, this loss is already fueling her next big moment. But this game, this night, this was Caitlin's. The stats will be remembered. The records will be etched. But the feeling, the vibe, that's the part no one will forget. The moment when the whole world realized, oh, this is different. So go ahead, rewatch the highlights, debate it with your friends, repost the stats. But remember this, history doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it shows up in sneakers, drops a 30-point triple-double, and walks off like it's just another Tuesday. And for Caitlin Clark, it probably was.